Hello, dear friends. A Chinese proverb says that when the winds of change blow, some build walls and others windmills. Great changes are always accompanied by a strong jolt. It is not the end of the world. It is the beginning of a new one. Rumors of good news continue, but almost nothing is confirmed yet. Opinion piece. Winds of change. Don't give up your freedom. Benevolence creates paradise. A new world is emerging. It's never too late to start. The US releases its oil reserve. 2020 and 2021, the strangest years in history. Long queues at Spain's food banks. China already crashed. You just don't know it yet. Bankers want rules for cryptocurrencies. Southeast Asia's largest bank is on its knees. One token could see a rise of nearly 800%. Economy confirms its slowdown with ridiculous growth. First planetary defense mission to deflect an asteroid. Sun has entered Sagittarius, lighter and brighter than Scorpio. US irritates China and invites Taiwan to Democracy Summit. Gold rush draws under the dredge rafts to Amazon tributary. Let's start. The winds of change are sweeping away corruption and cynicism according to Cass Better. The forces of nature are full of power, and also the winds of change are defined as an event or series of events that signals or precipitates major and important changes, an event or series of events that has begun to happen that would bring about major changes or outcomes, or an action or influences that would lead to major political or social changes. They are forces that have the power to change things. It is generally used to indicate that change would happen. It is a fundamental shift in power or politics, an inexorable current that is not under the control of the leaders. This classic is a piece aimed symbolizing the end of the Cold War, as well as the fall of the Berlin Wall. In quotes. The world is closing in, and did you ever think we could be so close? As brothers, the future is in the air. I can feel it everywhere, blowing with the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on a night of glory, where tomorrow's children dream away on the wind of change. Close quotes. Stargate newsletter by Sierra. One thing is certain. 2020 and 2021 have been the two strangest years in modern history. The matrix is breaking down. The critical point has been reached. The number of awakened people needed to activate the major dominoes leading to the event. We are now approaching a critical mass of people needed worldwide to change this. John Lennon. Don't Give Up Freedom by John W. Whitehead and Nisha Whitehead. In quotes. As we say, is give peace a chance. John Lennon. How do we give thanks for freedoms that are constantly being eroded? 50. John Lennon. The rest is a question. 50 years ago, John Lennon released Imagine and asked us to imagine all people living life in peace. That same year, Lennon released War is Over as part of a major anti-war campaign, a musical genius, anti-war activist, and a prime example of the lengths to which the dark side went to persecute those who dared to challenge its authority. Lennon made it clear that the only way to achieve an end to hunger, violence, war, and tyranny is to want it badly enough and work for it. Peace remains out of reach because the world continues to prosecute activists and whistleblowers for challenging authority. Lennon explained that people said, "You are naive, you are dumb, you are stupid." It may have hurt us to be called on that on a personal level, but what we were doing, you can call it magic, meditation, goal projection, or what business people do. It has a purpose. Soccer players do it. They pray, they meditate before the game. People project their own future. What we wanted to do was to say, let's imagine a good future. Lennon argued that world harmony is within our reach, only if we reject the mechanisms of social control that restrict human potential. Except from the song, in quotes. Imagine that paradise exists. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only heaven. Imagine all the people living today. Imagine there are no countries. It's not hard. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion either. Imagine all the people living life in peace. No need for greed of hunger. A brotherhood of humankind. Imagine all people sharing the whole world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Close quotes. Yoko Ono had published the book Grapefruit, a set of poetic compositions characterized by fragments such as imagine the clouds dripping, dig a hole in your garden to hold them, imagine a goldfish swimming across the sky, and imagine 1,000 suns in the sky at the same time. A world at peace. For those of us who join John Lennon in imagining a world of peace, it is increasingly difficult to reconcile that dream with reality. And those who dare to talked about corruption are labeled dissidents, troublemakers, lunatics, or mentally ill, untouched for surveillance, censorship, or worse, forced detention. This is not an easy undertaking. Thinking good thoughts, being grateful, counting your blessings, and adopting a glass half full mentality is all well and good. But that is not enough. This world requires doers, human beings who put those good thoughts into action. Remember, evil prevails when good human beings do nothing. Here is what I suggest. This year, do yourselves a favor and turn off the talking heads, turn off the screen devices, tune out the politicians, take a deep breath and then do something to give your blessings. Refuse to be silent, take a stand, talk loud, talk clearly, acknowledge the injustice. Find something to be grateful for about the things and people in your community for which you might have the least tolerance or appreciation. Instead of simply reciting a list of things you are grateful for that sound good, dig a little deeper and acknowledge the good in those you may have underestimated or feared. When it is time to give thanks for your good fortune, put your gratitude into action. Render your blessings with deeds that spread a little kindness. Lighten someone's load and brighten some dark corner. Engage in acts of kindness. Smile more. Build bridges. Don't let toxic politics define your relationships. Focus on things that unite rather than things that divide. Do your part to reject the menace of our culture with conscious compassion and humanity. Moods are contagious. They can be transmitted from person to person. So can the actions associated with those moods. Be a hero, whether anyone notices or not. Acts of benevolence can spark a movement, no matter how inconsequential they may seem. All it takes is one person to start a chain reaction. It's never too late to start making things right in the world. John Lennon tried to imagine a world in which we all lived in peace. He was a beautiful dreamer, whose life was ended by an assassin's bullet on December 8, 1980. Still, that doesn't mean the dream has to die too. There is something to be said for waking to make that dream a reality. As Lennon reminded his listeners, the war is over if you want it to be. The choice is ours if we want it. Economy. The economy confirms its slowdown with growth of only 2.1%. The official statistics from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis confirmed Wednesday the slowdown in the recovery as it left third quarter year-over-year growth at only 2.1%, up only 0.5%, half a point, quarter-over-quarter. The U.S. releases its oil reserve. It will release 50 million barrels of crude oil from its strategic reserves in concert with China, Japan, India, South Korea, and the UK. Stocks rise. Wall Street closed higher Wednesday, boosted by gains in Nvidia and other technology stocks, while shares of Gap of Nordstrom fell. Dollar soars. Dollar rises to highest level since July 2020. The dollar rose to its strongest level in more than a year, boosted by a rise in treasury yields. The dollar gained broadly on Wednesday, hitting a 16-month high against the euro and a nearly 5-year high against the Japanese yen, as investors bet the Fed will tighten monetary policy. Europe. Euro falls to July 2020 low. The euro fell Wednesday after a survey showed German business morale deteriorated in November, while the Turkish lira remained under pressure. European carbon price hits record. Europe's benchmark carbon contract hit a new record high of 73.18 euros a ton on Wednesday after Germany's incoming coalition government said it would prevent carbon prices in its country from falling below 60 euros a ton. Netherlands riots. At least 21 people were arrested in different cities in the Netherlands after provoking violent riots on the fourth day of demonstrations. Authorities confirmed a total arrest of 173 demonstrators, a third of whom are minors. Spain. Long queues at food banks in Spain. Many of these people in this situation are forced to go to the so-called hunger queues in a key week for the Great Food Collection that aims to raise 22 million euros. The situation of poverty in Spain affects 11 million human beings, many of whom have been forced to resort to the hunger queues due to business closures at the economic crisis. Nuclear plant accident in Spain. One worker has died and 3 more have been hospitalized following a carbon dioxide leak at the Ascó nuclear power plant in Tarragona. An overload in the plant's fire protection system is suspected. Brussels asks Spain for a prudent budgetary policy due to its high debt. The European Commission on Wednesday asked Spain, given its high level of debt, to maintain a prudent fiscal policy when adopting budgetary measures to support the recovery, and recommended that it be ready to adapt these measures if circumstances change. Empty Spain rebels. The political project Jaén merece más is born in Andalusia, which is part of the Empty Spain movement. The demand for redistribution of investments and opportunities territorially comes with the controversial budgets at the European funds. Not only age wears down the immune system. Researchers at the University of Córdoba have discovered that the herpes virus, cytomegalovirus, contributes to the chronic deterioration of the human body's defenses. The origin of this weakness could be the possibility of slowing it down. Church registrations in Navarra. More land at temples. The list of property not related to worship that the Church has registered in Navarra in its favor includes fields, farms, square, houses, and even frontons, which, together with the different temples, are equivalent to 575 source fields and a total of 2,952 assets. United Kingdom. Bulb Energy goes bust in the UK. Bulb has become the largest energy company to collapse as a result of high wholesale gas prices, leaving British taxpayers struggling to ensure that its 1.7 million customers continue to benefit from a continued supply to their homes. 31 migrants shipwrecked in the English Channel. They perished in the English Channel on Wednesday when their boat sank while trying to reach the UK from the French coast, the worst recent tragedy in the area, and prompting France to say that all of Europe is in mourning. Turkish lira recovers from record low. Turkish lira recovered as much as 7% on Wednesday after a historic drop to record lows a day earlier, sparked by President Tayyip Erdogan's defense of rate cuts, but still worries consumers and investors about volatility and sharp price increases. Southeast Asia's largest bank is on its knees. Singapore's DBS Group, Southeast Asia's largest bank, has faced 2 consecutive days of massive disruptions to its online banking services. Technical problems with access control servers caused disruptions to the payments application, with thousands of customers complaining that they were unable to log into their account and threatening to switch banks. Hours after a solution to the first outage was announced, the second crash also affected the same application. Gold fever. Gold rises. Gold rose Tuesday morning in Asia, but remained near its lowest level in more than 2 weeks. Gold rush draws hundreds of dredge rafts to Amazon tributary. Hundreds of dredge rafts operated by illegal miners have gathered in a gold rush on the Madeira River, a major tributary of the Amazon, floating hundreds of miles as state and federal authorities dispute who is responsible for stopping them. A Mexican crime Batman hunts down suspected thieves, ties them up and gives them a Joker-style makeover. The event took place in the state of Tamaulipas. A couple was found tied to a pole for stealing an old woman's purse. 6 people appeared a few days ago tied with tape and made up in the style of the Joker in the main avenue of the Mexican municipality of Rio Bravo, in Tamaulipas, wearing on their foreheads and chests the legend "Soy rata" or "por rata", meaning "I am a rat". Barbados celebrates getting rid of the British Queen. Barbados, a former British colony, will next week abandon Queen Elizabeth as head of state, severing its last imperial ties with Britain almost 400 years after the first British ship arrived on the Caribbean island. China. US angers China, invites Taiwan to Democracy Summit. The Biden administration invited Taiwan to its Democracy Summit next month, according to a list of participants released Tuesday, a move that angered China, which sees the democratically governed island as its territory. US blacklists Chinese companies aiding the military. The US government on Wednesday blacklisted a dozen Chinese companies. US government on Wednesday placed a dozen Chinese companies on its trade blacklist over national security and foreign policy concerns, citing in some cases their help in developing the Chinese military's quantum computing efforts. China already crashed. You just don't know it yet. China's economy is about to experience the biggest collapse in history, from which it will take decades to recover. China's impending collapse would be similar to the devastating 80% market collapse in Japan in the 90s. All countries depend on China for the manufacture of almost every product. A sudden slowdown in the Chinese economy triggered by a real estate crisis would slow consumption worldwide. This collapse could occur as early as January 2022. The commodity market is highly dependent on China. China's demand for commodities accounts for 15% of all global GDP, and countless commodities depend almost exclusively on China. Among these commodities are iron, ore, and copper, which are currently collapsing at incredibly fast rates right now. Cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin faces ban in India. Indian lawmakers will begin discussing a bill next week that would outlaw all private cryptocurrencies. A proposal to ban all private cryptocurrencies was placed on the agenda of the Indian Parliament just days after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared that assets such as Bitcoin could end up in inappropriate hands. Bankers want rules for cryptocurrencies. They may come next year. The banking industry has been clamoring for rules on cryptocurrencies. The Federal Reserve and other agencies are now answering the call. The Fed and other agencies laid out a roadmap for regulations on Tuesday, setting an agenda in areas such as custody purchases, secure lending, and capital requirements. Senate seeks answers on stablecoin Tether, requesting immediate information on its backstops, redemption process, and activities. Tether is a stable currency. The dollar is pledged to real wealth ownership to preserve state value. Unlike most cryptocurrencies that are recognized and unstable, such as Bitcoin, some buyers believe that the lack of confidence in Tether could be the black swan of cryptocurrency. JP Morgan advises something better than Bitcoin. The largest US bank says Ethereum, the world's second most valuable cryptocurrency, could be the best bet as interest rates begin to rise. One token could see a rise of nearly 800%. Cryptocurrency specialist account Credible Crypto has named an undervalued asset, the car finance cryptocurrency, which has the potential to grow by as much as tenfold according to its estimates. Space news. First planetary defense mission to deflect asteroid. NASA's first planetary defense mission was successfully launched on Tuesday. It will deliberately collide with an asteroid to deflect it from its orbit in order to test the technology that would be needed to avoid a collision with Earth. Pentagon creates a new UFO task force. The Department of Defense has ordered the establishment of a specialized group to detect and identify the aerial objects. The new task force has been named the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group. Sagittarius by Celia Feng. The Sun has moved into Sagittarius, and we have left the depths and heights of Scorpio behind. Sagittarius is lighter and brighter, but more fiery, so we can expect the intensity to continue and even intensify. We are moving toward special times, the total solar eclipse on December 4th, the galactic transit on the 19th, and the winter solstice on December 21st. As we head toward the total solar eclipse, we can expect the Sun to be more active. Solar codes will arrive at a rapid pace to assist with the expansion of consciousness. There will be galactic and angelic energies working to assist human beings in their awakening and transformation. In real terms, this may mean that on the physical level problems would intensify, and we would be challenged to stand firm and preach what we say, while demonstrating the principles we have chosen to live by. These include love, compassion, and kindness. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.